Test.
Call this meeting to order. This is a special meeting of the City Council of the City of Ocean Shores. It is March 31st, 2026. The time is 6 p.m. The meeting is being held at the Ocean Shores Convention Center. The meetings are simulcast and archived on KOSW Radio. Meetings are live streamed with closed captioning and may be accessed on the city website under Council Recordings. The meetings can be viewed on cable channel 68 and at 12 p.m. and Sundays at 10 a.m.
And pardon me, we have like a cricket or something. I don't know what's going on here. Her mic, is it your mic?
Is it my mic?
Is your mic? All right, here, just take mine for now.
I got him. All right, can we do roll call, please?
Councilmember Sires.
Here.
Councilmember Taylor.
Here.
Councilmember Griebel.
Here.
Councilmember Klein.
Here.
Councilmember Scott.
Here.
Councilmember Wills.
Here.
Councilmember Dooley.
Here. Tom, can you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? All right, can we get approval of tonight's agenda?
I make a motion to approve tonight's meeting agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, unanimous, thank you. There's no ceremonies or proclamations. And boards and committee vacancies, we have 3 vacancies on the Parks Board, 2 vacancies on the Building Code Board of Appeals. Tonight, I would like to appoint Rita Bovey to the Parks Board with council consensus.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Welcome aboard, Rita, if you're watching. We have no other reports. Public communication to council is intended for communication to the city council regarding general council business or policy not on tonight's agenda. Address comments or questions to the city council body, not to individual council members, staff, or audience members. Limit your comments to 3 minutes. This is not a question and answer period. And council cannot engage with the public. Personal attacks, abusive language, slanderous remarks, or disruptive behavior will not be tolerated. No person may use the public comment period for the purpose of campaigning or advertising. The time will begin once the citizen has started their public comment. At 2 minutes, you will see a green light followed by a yellow light indicating 30 seconds remain in the public comment period. The red light will notify the reader that their public comment time has ended. Order of public comments will be individuals attending in person, individuals attending remotely. The general public comment, whether in person or remotely, will continue in the usual position on the agenda. If an agenda item has been removed, the public comment regarding that item will be addressed following the conclusion of general public comments. So who do we have, Scott?
Okay, good evening, Mayor, Council, citizens. We have 5 public comments in person and 1 online. And the first is Jan Hyatt, compliments to the city.
Hi, good evening. Jan Hyatt, resident of Ocean Shores. I wanted to thank the city of Ocean Shores for several items going on around here. The road cleanups, the cutting the brushes, just so many things that are getting the city cleaned up and looking so much nicer. But I also want to thank them for the staff that the city is employing. Just they're doing a great job. They're very pleasant, nice, they're courteous, and they really do help us. One of the important groups here is the convention center with Mr. George Lee and his staff, the entire staff. This last weekend, the Razor Clam Festival, I'm going to use the term, was outrageous. There was so many people here and such good people, and the crowds trying to get in to test the clam chowder. There were a few people in that line, and the ones that did the taste testing, I do believe, did an excellent job. So I want to thank the city, the council, but the staff that are employed by the city to go out and do things for us as citizens, and especially all of the workers here at the convention center. Nice job for everyone. Thank you.
Next, Susan Canary, don't have to, can't make me.
Thank you, Susan Canary. Tonight I speak about a pattern, not just an isolated incident. In January of last year, the city administrator issued a letter to all city employees, falsely stating that I was a party to a lawsuit against the city, and directed staff not to communicate with me. I made repeated efforts to correct the record through emails, public comment, and a formal complaint. There was no response from the city. The record remains uncorrected. More recently, I experienced harassment and intimidation by a city employee at a council meeting. There was no response from the city, even though I wrote emails, did a public comment, and a formal complaint. The record remains uncorrected. This is not about two incidents. It is about a pattern. When residents raise serious concerns, they are met with silence. In a functioning democracy, silence is not a policy. It is a failure. We are told to trust the process, but a process that does not respond, does not correct itself, and does not acknowledge harm is not a process. It is avoidance. And at some point, the message starts to sound like a child's refrain. Don't have to, can't make me. As the war in Iran begins to affect us, we will no doubt be asked to trust leadership in more serious and uncertain times. But when issues like these are ignored, what confidence should residents have when the stakes are higher? At this point, no response has become the response. And if silence is the standard, then the message is clear. Accountability is optional, and truth does not matter. That is not leadership, that is neglect. This community deserves leadership that answers, corrects if necessary, and acts, not just when it's easy, but when it is necessary. Leadership that will not answer is not leadership at all. It is evasion. Thank you.
Angie Miller, welcoming city certification.
Hi, Mayor and Council. I'm just following up on my email that I sent each of you, along with the attachment for the Welcoming City Certification Program. And I'm wondering if there could be a motion made to study the program further. And that's basically all I'm doing is following up. So that's it. Thank you.
Tinny Jones, community safety.
Thank you, Tenny Jones. I'm a full-time resident here for 5 years now and also a veteran. This is my third time coming here. First of all, I appreciate you listening. Thank you. I don't really feel like there's much sense in sending emails to the council because I don't really get any response. I have one person that responds to me and that's it. So I feel like I need to come down here, and it is precious time that we spend away from our families to come and make a comment. My comment is about a pattern that I've seen here. I've only been to 3 meetings. It's not just about the meetings, though. It's also about community behavior. I know there's people here that don't feel safe. There's many people that don't feel safe here. But we sat here and listened to a community study where many, many white, older men stood up and told us how safe they felt. That's not who I'm concerned for. So in the beginning of that meeting, Ms. Sears, excuse me if I said it wrong, stated the rules clearly and said what the consequences would be. There was a large group that came in, as I understand it, with 3 preachers and a congregations. I don't know if that's true. They immediately started disobeying the rules, clapping after other people were speaking, speaking when other people were speaking, saying derogatory remarks that I personally heard. I had to leave early because it really takes so much of that kind of energy. But I want to say, I felt like either the council did not have Ms. Sears back, or possibly the mob mentality, and it was intimidating the police that were present. Neither one of those things make me feel like I trust neither the council or the police. And I don't know why anyone else would that feels marginalized. It is not against the law to be a jerk or a bully, but it isn't right. And it's definitely not Christian. Okay? And there were many people with their little symbols and proclaiming to be them. Okay. Now then, as a result of that, the angry mob mentality that was allowed, and I say that because Ms. Sears tried to stop them and told them that police were going to make them leave, and she was booed down by a great big group of people, and the whole council, as I'd like to see, this word is coming up a lot, was silent. Nobody was made to leave that I saw. I left personally. Can't take so much of that. Anyway, I just want to say I cannot understand how this council expects that the community feels safe or that we have any trust. You wouldn't even sign a simple document saying something about community trust. That's nothing. So I just, in your inability to even confirm this document of a trust, you've confirmed where you stand. And I'm disappointed. And there are people that don't feel safe here. That's not okay. I'm a veteran. That is not okay. But like I said, I'm not waiting for you guys to do the right thing. We'll take care of ourselves. Thank you for your time.
Lillian Broadbent, advertising.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. I've been doing this for 26 years. I get up and say what I think. I'm not going to stop now, but this will be a first. I want to say that the advertising committee we have right now is for the first time that I can remember being extremely effective. I got calls from out of town about the upcoming Razor Clam Festival. We saw the results at the festival. Evening Magazine, which is where I saw a lot of the episodes, reaches a broad audience. And it reaches an audience that comes and gets us. I remember standing at this podium one year, absolutely flabbergasted because we'd hired an advertising firm for $500,000. They did their market research at the Auburn Mall. We're doing a lot better in that area. And I think it showed at the Razor Clam Festival, although we did run out of crab very, very early. That's a bad thing to have happen. On the other hand, and it's kind of the same hand, last weekend we had 600 people on Point Brown. 600 people downtown. The only other time that happens is the Flag Day Parade. So instead of wailing about it, one of the local markets said it was the best day they'd had. So I think we need to appreciate the rights of all of our citizens to get up and speak. And that even means looking at them sometimes, and I know that can be hard. But it's necessary. And we need to welcome everyone. I was very proud of the way people were welcomed to the Razor Clam Festival. It was very well done. And so many people, and so many people from so many different places. That one was a home run, guys, and I hope that we apply that same form of advertising for our upcoming events. Thank you.
All right, and then we have one general public comment online, and that is Don Williams, and the topic is need to revise council rules for public comment.
Okay, are we on?
We are indeed done.
Thank you very much, Scott. Tonight I'll be speaking in follow-up to my comments at the last city council meeting that were directed to the council members on the subject of conduct of city council meetings. First, I know there's an ad hoc committee led by the Mayor Pro Tem that's working diligently on revising the city council meeting guidelines, and hopefully these revisions will become available for public review and comment, and I hope that'll be sooner than later. My message to you tonight is identical to what I said at the last meeting, and that is this is a city council meeting. That's the 7 of you at the front of the room. You are the governing body of this city. It's not the mayor's meeting. The mayor or anyone else that leads the meeting is only the facilitator, not the governing body. The last council meeting, a member suggested that the person holding the gavel is the governing body. That's just not the case. Misinformed. State law is very clear who and what the governing body is, and in this case, the city council is the one and only governing body. This is the city council's meeting, and you are the governing body, and accordingly, you must set the rules of conduct for these meetings. And hopefully, these rules of conduct will be clearly stated, actually more clearly stated, in the soon-to-be completed revised city council guidelines. As you work on these guidelines, please take a look at what's now part of the agenda. On page 4, there's a page called Code of Conduct. Take a look at that. And on page 6, the city council public comment, and also the statement that's read by the mayor prior to public comments. All of these need to be revised specifically to state how the meetings will be conducted in such a way that the meeting is focused and the allowed public comments are focused only on city business, city operations, city priorities, and the city budget, and nothing else. Hopefully this will happen, and I look forward to being able to review the comments, the new revised council guidelines when they come out, like I said, hopefully sooner than later, and that they will be very specific, much more so than now, regarding the types of business to be conducted at city council meetings. And I thank you very much.
That concludes it.
That concludes public comment.
Okay. All right, so we're going to move on to council liaison reports and committee reports, and we'll start with Tom.
Start with this time. I've had some conflicts with my liaison time frames and my work and missing some things. So I really don't have anything to say today, except I'm talking to you at least.
All right, Lisa Griebel.
Thank you, Mayor. I attended the City Council Guidelines Committee and the Public Works Committee. And I'll just say one thing about the Public Works Committee, so that way the others there can share their thoughts too. And that was one of the things we learned about was the opportunity for a grant. And it's nice to see that's on the agenda this evening. So we'll hear lots about that tonight.
Allison.
I attended our Guidelines Ad Hoc Committee meeting where we are continuing to work on those. I attended Public Works and also Public Safety. And with Public Safety, we got a lot of updated information on the fire station and their transports, also staffing for police department as well as the fire department.
Thanks. Denise?
I attended agenda review. I signed warrants. As Lisa and Allison said, we met for the council guidelines. The three of us are the ad hoc committee. Finance is tomorrow, and the spring LTAC applications were due today.
Lisa Scott.
Thank you. I also attended agenda setting, public safety, just there in the background. And then for Public Works, I attended as well. And one of the things that we talked about, in addition to what Lisa Griebel mentioned, was we talked about the convention center and the finishing up of the contract, the original contract for the soffits. They're coming back to do kind of like the last checklist, and there's some repairs that need to be made. We're also working on getting estimates, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but getting estimates on getting the rest of the HVAC replaced as well as the roof, so that I think will be coming in the next budget cycle. And then we also talked about a little bit about the clinic, and that is in the hospital district's hands at this point, and they're working diligently to get that open, but we're looking at April. I know originally we had hoped and anticipated for the end of March, but it will be April. And then we also have Finance Committee meeting tomorrow.
Richard.
Thank you. So I'm on both the Library Board and the Parks Board. The Parks Board did not meet last time because there was not a quorum, and the Library Board meets later this month. However, I have something else I want to say briefly, and ironically, or synchronistically, what I had pre-written was very close to what the public comments today were. So I want everybody to understand, public comments during public meetings are governed by the Open Public Meetings Act, which is RCW 42.30.240. There are additional RCWs outlining the consequences of violations of the OPMA. They could include jail time, depending on the severity. So just because we sit, listen, and do not comment one way or the other does not mean we support or reject a speaker's comments. We are most likely adhering to our oath of office and allowing you your First Amendment rights. So just because we sit up here and don't say anything doesn't mean that we are rejecting or applauding whatever is being said. The following is a short excerpt from When Hate Comes to Town, addressing racist and anti-Semitic public comments. It was published on the MRSC website. MRSC, for those of you who don't know, stands for the Municipal Research Service Center. It's a Washington State resource for public officials. So here's the part that I wanted to quote. Why not prohibit hate speech? It may be tempting to simply prohibit the use of hate speech during the public comment period, but there are a few reasons why this is inadvisable. First, a court would likely view a prohibition on the hate speech as content-based restriction. One of the bedrock principles of free speech is that government may not prohibit the expression of an idea simply because society finds the idea itself to be offensive. There is not an exception for hate speech under the First Amendment. Second, hate speech is a difficult concept to define for the purpose of enforcing public comment rules. The problem rests not with egregious examples of hate speech, but in those areas where there may be room for disagreement. Asking a presiding officer and governing body to determine whether a speaker has used hate speech during the public comment portion of a meeting is a fraught undertaking with potential liability to the agency for violation of free speech. So contrary to the perception that I hear, just because we don't say anything doesn't mean we're not listening, doesn't mean that we're not thinking, and doesn't mean that your comments do not influence our decisions when it's time to make a decision. So I just wanted to educate everybody on what I think is actually happening up here, contrary to the opinions that I sometimes hear. Thank you.
Kurt. I attended the Public Safety Committee liaison meeting at the library. The police department reported 2 officer candidates in background investigations and a deputy chief candidate hire pending that process. Along with a mid-June rollout of tasers and camera systems, the fire department responded to over 3,000 calls in 2025, with about 26% involving multiple simultaneous incidents, highlighting staffing demands. The city administrator also provided an update on Damon Point, noting limited public access and safety concerns due to strong currents. I attended the Fresh Waterways Advisory Board. Volunteers recently completed 2 work parties cleaning up the south end of the Bass Canal. The board received updates on the cyanobacteria and aquatic weed management. After reviewing options, the aquatic weed subcommittee, recommended the most comprehensive treatment plan to council. While this approach would result in a modest utility increase, the recommendation reflects the need to address long-term water quality and system health. And I also signed warrants.
All right, thanks. Guess next up, Mayor's report. What I would like to speak on is the fact that our longstanding police chief has retired. Today was her last day. She didn't spend it here in town. She had to go to jury duty, believe it or not. So that was kind of a odd coincidence, I guess. But the city wants to thank her for her time here and the things that she did. I know a lot of people in the community thought a lot of Nikki and appreciate the work and stuff that she had done with them. So I just wanted to mention that. Some of you may not know that today was her last day, but she is retired. And like I say, the city really appreciates her duty and her time spent here, trying to keep everything in order. So also I wanted to talk on the clinic. So the clinic is ready to roll. we're waiting for a pharmacy license. And I've talked to the hospital a couple of times. They had a similar issue here lately with the pharmacy, whoever runs it for the state. They were kind of dragged their feet a little bit, is what I was told. So I'm hoping that that gets turned around here pretty quick. But everything is ready to go. The pharmacy license gets approved, and they will be opening the doors for the clinic. We have a hearing tomorrow. So the hearing tomorrow is going to be about some property zoning changes. The other part is going to be to get permission to have a new police station and city hall at the old ACE building. So that, you don't like that, huh? Anyway, it's something the city needs with a police station, and it gives us a lot of room for expansion for the police. It also gives us room for expansion for the clinic. If the clinic needs to grow and get bigger, we'll be able to accommodate that, and that's really good for the public. So we're looking forward to getting that rolling this year. And if you want to come and have a comment about the fire or police station or city hall, you can come to the hearing tomorrow. There'll be a hearing examiner here at 10 o'clock. So it's open to the public. So that's it for my report. Can we get a motion on the consent agenda?
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
All in favor? All right, thanks, unanimous. We have no old business, new business. We have a resolution of the City Council of the City of Ocean Shores, Washington, establishing Imprest accounts, appointing custodian for the accounts, establishing the amount of monies to be on deposit in each account, and rescinding prior resolution establishing and settling amounts of such accounts. And that'll be presented by our Finance Director, Sarah Logan.
Good evening. So this Imprest resolution you've seen multiple times. This is any petty cash or cash drawers or bank accounts that we currently have. As you know, we have established that the city is going to take on the golf course for a period of time. And with that, they have a point of sale system that they have enacted in the golf course. And with that system, there needs to be a bank account that is deposited in. Right now, we're using the same Square account that we utilize for the convention center. As you can imagine, for reconciling purposes, that's not the most ideal way. But instead of belaboring them and not being able to take the income from renewals of memberships and sales of food and alcohol, we opted to go that way until we could get this corrected. The bank requires a signed document from the governing body saying that we can open the account. To open the account for deposit, it won't be for anything else other than depositing revenue. It's $100 to open it. This resolution gives us the ability to provide it to the bank and open that up and get the system that they have now, the point of sale system that uploads tomorrow, on the right checking account. So it doesn't go into our big one, and then it's a reconciliation nightmare.
All right, thank you. Public comment. Do we have any public comment? Yes, go ahead.
Jan Hyatt, thank you. It says that it. Oh,
You got to get the clock going.
Oh, thank you, Jan Hyatt. It says that it can be restored monthly. Can it be restored only to the amount that is allocated? Say some are $100, some I read, I believe one was $2,000 or $3,000, or can you add different amounts monthly? Or is the amount that you add the one that it says it will be right now? Or can you change those amounts without council approval? Thank you.
Any other public comment? Yes, go ahead.
This is more of a question than a comment. Well, actually, two questions. One, isn't the point of sale system and the running of the golf course going to require a cash drawer? And doesn't that also require an Imprest account? I don't know. It just seems logical. Some people will not use the point of sale. The other question I have is the $6,000 for training. Is training no longer included in the general budget preparation, or is this a separate account for something? I don't know what. Isn't training part of our budget process? And perhaps I just need an explanation on that.
All right, any other public comment? All right, seeing none, council, any questions or comments? Go ahead, Lisa and Richard.
Do you want to respond or?
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
I don't care. So to Jan's question about the amounts, we can't change any of the amounts. So what all of these amounts are what we balance drawers to. So whether it's a drawer or a banking account, it gets balanced. So like for utility billings cash drawer, at the end of the day, they balance that cash drawer down to $200 every time. And same goes for municipal court, same goes for the police station. So I hope that one answers that. So we can't change it. We can't add it. That's what it has to be balanced to every time. So when we put this $100, we have to show in our reconciliation how we balance that all the way down to $100. Specifically for cash drawer at the golf course, we've opted to go cashless. They have been cashless since February 1, and it's been well received, and it's just another added we don't have to worry about over and shorts. We were grateful while we were going through this transition. And then they don't have to do remittance. We don't have to write another policy for the Washington State Auditor's Office on that. So we opted to not do a cash drawer, which then didn't require a petty cash Imprest account, which would have been listed on this resolution. And the $6,000 travel fund, it really could, we've left it there, it really could go away. We finally wrote a training and travel policy for the city of Ocean Shores, which they didn't have prior. And so they would have to do for a lot of, specifically the fire department, maybe a couple different building trainings, they would have to do travel advances for those. And what they would actually do is write a check off of this account to that person to cash. It was so that they could have cash to go on that. You no longer can do that. You have to have your training, travel, the amounts, everything approved before you even go, and it's reimbursed. Everything's paid for by Human Resources, your hotel, all the things, and you don't get reimbursed for any food or travel until you get back anyway. So in truth, it could have been one of the ones we closed the last go around. We just didn't. So it's totally up to the council's discretion. We don't have any, it sits there. So, and training and travel are budgeted in ours. This was specifically if a travel advance needed to happen, they could write the check off.
Thanks. Richard.
So my question was answered, but if nobody else has any questions, I'd like to make a motion. Well, there's another question.
Yes, Lisa.
I was just wondering if we could take this opportunity to just restate what our plan is currently for the golf course and who's running it, since we no longer are using Troon.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do you want me to do it? You want to do it?
I'll just talk about the finance side of it. And the licensing side of it. So we took over the golf course February 1. We have the city, along with members that have been brought on by the mayor, city administrator, and human resources to run the golf course. We have worked out a point of sale system. We have applied and received a liquor license in the city's name. So all things are being done in the city's name now and will continue to be done so going forward. The Finance Committee will see, and the agenda has been published, and we've talked about it multiple times at the Finance Committee, what our financials will look like. We've deep dove into those, and since that's going to carry on, we have supplied the Finance Committee for review all of the bars numbers that we would be adding for expense and revenues, so that we can really start looking, and we've practically mirrored everything to the business that's ran at the convention center. So essentially how we run and operate the convention center is how we are running and operating the Ocean Shores Golf Course. The team meets almost weekly at this point, is in constant communication, and I think there's 5 of us overseeing everything that's happening down there. And Scott the city administrator can add more to that.
Sure. I mean, she actually said the key points that I wanted to make is that the city has really taken over the golf course. Our relationship with Troon and going to a third-party vendor just really did not work out for us financially or in terms of accountability. And so we've taken a different approach. We have a new website that's coming online. It's as close to being done. They have a new member package system, which is there. We're taking in revenue. I'm optimistic that this is going to work out for us, but we're going to run it for a year, and then we're going to look at the financials, and we're going to determine whether this was the best course of action or not. But thus far, I'm pleased with our results.
Right. Yes, Denise.
Yes, Sarah, since we are not using that travel fund, can we amend this to take this out?
Yes, absolutely.
And then use those funds where they actually are used for travel?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Lisa Scott.
Okay, I'd like to, I'm going to make the motion and someone else can amend it. So I'd like to make a motion to approve a resolution of the City Council of the City of Ocean Shores, Washington, establishing Imprest accounts, appointing custodians for the accounts, establishing the amount of monies to be deposited in each account, and rescinding prior resolutions establishing and setting amounts of such accounts. Got a second?
You second? We have a second.
I would like to make a motion to amend the motion that was just made. And the amendment would be that we remove the travel portion of this ordinance, of this resolution.
Second.
All right, we have a second for the amendment. Anybody want to speak on that? All right, I guess all in favor?
Aye.
All right, that's unanimous. Thank you.
So don't we have to have 2 votes?
Yeah, we have to do it.
So that.
Your amendment is approved.
Okay, that was my clarification. Thank you.
So we have a second on your motion.
Yeah, and then he amended the motion.
Yeah.
So then you want to, we have a motion to amend the resolution of the City Council of the City of Ocean Shores, Washington, establishing Imprest accounts, appointing custodians to the accounts, establishing the amount of monies to be deposited in each account, and rescinding prior resolutions establishing and setting amounts for such accounts. The amendment is removing the travel fund of $6,000.
Second.
All right, we have a second on the amended motion. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. All right, next, we got a resolution of the City Council of the City of Ocean Shores, Washington, approving a special market condition purchase for golf carts. And that'll be presented by our Finance Director, Sarah Logan.
So the city took over the golf course, if you're following, and when we transitioned to Troon, the management company, from a private leaseholder, at that time the city bought a lot of equipment that went to Troon to operate, and that was in end of 23, beginning of 24, if memory serves. And at that time, we had purchased 29 carts. At present date, 12 of them are operational, even with maintenance attempts by people that know golf carts that have worked there, and then our own city mechanic. So there is a huge revenue source when it comes to the cart rentals, and so they cannot possibly go into the big season if we try to compete with getting a decent revenue to kind of show a good revenue and expense going forward. They have the option through this special marketing to purchase a fleet of 2021 golf carts. And we have these that have been barely used from Lake Chelan. And the only reason that Lake Chelan has put them up is because they've moved to all electrical, which is the future. But what these 2021 golf carts would afford us is between 5 to 7 years of low maintenance costs, not having to buy new golf carts, and allowing us time to figure out, one, what we're doing, but also to potentially, if we carry this on, build up an account that we can just go and purchase new ones that are electric in the future to kind of go with that. And by that time, we might have this same option available, because all of those bigger golf courses that kind of have high turnover because they have tons and tons of money will be able to do the same kind of deal that we were able to do for these 2021s. So the quote is a little difficult. So we kind of tried to spell that out in the agenda bill. This is a 3-year lease to purchase agreement. So in your agenda bill, we received, even though only 12 of those golf carts are operational, they are allowing us to turn in 22 of our golf carts for trade-in, even though they're not working, for $18,400. So the total price for 36 golf carts that we would receive, these are gas powered, will last us with low to no maintenance for between 5 and 7 years. And that's low to no maintenance. So, I mean, if we're maintaining them and so on between our city mechanic and the mechanics that work at the golf course, we could get longevity even more so out of that. 36 golf carts at $154,620, effectively per cost of $3,740. So we spanned this over 36 months. They allow us the capability to make 6 payments from our highest revenue sourcing months instead of making payments one at a time, which kind of did good. So the whole thing came down to $148. $716 with our trade-ins, because that gave us a credit for $18,400, and we listed it out that for 26 it'd be $49,572. 27 would be the same. 28, we're 3 years in and we own them. So that's kind of all we have. It would be 102. It would need a budget amendment because, of course, their expenditure account isn't up to this. But it's definitely going to come back to us. I think it was, and Scott, you can correct me if I'm wrong, their revenue stream on the golf course was like $90,000 or something. So just the payment alone, it would be taken care of by that revenue stream.
They definitely make about $15,000 per golf cart per year in terms of rental fees. So
so it could even be more
maker.
since we have 36 available and they have 12 right now. So just the payment alone, the revenue stream from the rentals would pay for that in itself.
All right, we have any public comment? I'm not seeing any. Council, any comments or questions? Yes, Kurt.
Who are we actually purchasing these from?
It is called Pacific Golf and Turf. So Lake Chelan has turned them over, I'm assuming, on some type of consignment option.
Got it.
They have multiples of those and different fleets, and I think they even have some electric fleets at this point. But they turn them over to offload them, and then that's who we end up making our purchase through, not through Lake Chelan.
Okay, what were the special market conditions that was mentioned?
So it gives us the ability, because Pacific Golf and Turf has the agreement to do fleets on lease to purchase. So under our purchasing authority and RCW, that's what gave us the special conditions to just go straight through this place that we could get a good deal at.
Okay, thank you.
Can I just add one thing?
Sure.
It is truly time sensitive, and as much as we are going to be competing with a number of other golf courses to get these carts, they're very, very hard to obtain. one of the reasons that we had a problem when we first took over this whole process from Kurt is that when we bought those carts from Kurt originally, it was in the middle of COVID, and carts were 4 to 5 years out to get them. And so if we didn't purchase those and we didn't have them in our inventory, we weren't going to have a golf course.
All right, least agreeable.
So does that include delivery? Do they bring them out to us, or how does that work?
That includes everything. The only thing that wasn't on the quote was the sales tax, but I included that in the amounts that we are requesting. And there's no other trip costs or anything like that.
Yes, Richard.
So again, if nobody has anything else they want to add, I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolution of the City Council of the City of Ocean Shores, Washington, approving a special market condition purchase of golf carts. And I also want to add, great job, whoever sleuthed this deal out. Thank you.
Second.
All right, we have a second. Any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, unanimous. Thank you. All right, next up, we got a request of the City Council of the City of Ocean Shores, Washington, to allow the city to proceed with applying for an RCO grant to upgrade North Bay Park. And that will be presented by our project manager, Becky Leach, and our grant and project management assistant, Tim Hiles.
Good evening, council and citizens. So we have an RCO grant that the city would like to apply for $250,000. The grant funds would be used for new playground equipment, new volleyball court, ADA parking spaces, and then ADA pass also from the parking spaces to the amenities at the park. There is a match for the RCO grant for Ocean Shores. It would be 20% or $50,000. Funding for this grant to start the upgrades is expected to be in September of this year. So it would be cool to be able to get this work started this fall. We've got some slides to show you, and Tim Hiles, our grant manager, is going to talk a little bit more about the specific projects.
Thanks, Becky. So we'd like to purchase new playground equipment. The old equipment was installed in 2010, and it's showing some serious signs of deterioration, especially at the joints where things come together. There's 3 playground structures that we had somebody mock up for us, and we put them on storyboards and displayed them at the library for about 3.5 weeks so that children and adults could vote on the one that they liked the best. And we got those back, and the one that they chose is has a cost associated with it of $137,515 to avoid expensive installation costs. We will ask volunteers to construct the playground equipment. Item number 2, we'd like to install a volleyball court next to the basketball court. Some of the kids from the high school had come to the park board meeting and requested a volleyball court. It took some time to find the right surface, but we found these tiles that clip together and they stay in place. They're used in sport courts, indoors and outdoors. So,
Can you please hold off on the slides? Thank you.
Thanks, Nicole. Again, we'll ask for volunteers to install them. They told me it probably would take about 4 hours for about 4 to 5 people to just clip them together into place. It would involve grading, paving, and then installing the surface tiles. Also installing a net system that I found. That project, part of the project is estimated at about $50,000 for all of that. I think that would be a great addition to the park. It would be pretty cool. Another thing, as Becky had mentioned, updating ADA requirements. They are a requirement for the RCO grant. we would need to add to some of the paths that we have in the park there, and also a couple of ADA parking spaces. We would also include some seating. That's also a requirement for the grant. We estimate to get all of that done, the paths and the seating, about 16.5. So the total ask is going to be $250,000. As Becky mentioned, $50,000 would be our match at 20%. It came down from 30% when we first started the grant, so that's a bonus. So pretty excited about that. And we have slides. There's some storyboards of a previous Chinook Park project, and we're going to follow suit with that. There are some. I can't tell. That's not the. That's the one at Chinook, right? Sorry, that's the Chinook Park. We're going to be doing some of the same stuff. You can see there's a path there. Volunteers constructing the equipment, the finished project. You can move on to the next slide, please. Took some pictures of like I said, some of the joints where things come together. There's starting to rust, and that's definitely a concern, especially here, as we all know. I think that new equipment is needed because I don't know how long that's going to last in that condition. Next slide, please. So we're going to use the same area that exists for the current playground equipment. Same footprint. Nothing's going to change, just the playground equipment. Next slide. And there's pictures of I believe that is the one that they chose. No, that's not the one they chose, is it?
This is a slide that talks about the different things that it is good for the kids, like mobility, learning mobility and strength and things like that. That's what this slide is showing.
Thank you, Becky. Next slide, please. There we go. That's what it's going to look like. It's kind of hard to see without being blown up, but it's a nice, it's nice playground equipment. And like I said, the kids and adults chose it. So I think that will be a popular piece of equipment for everyone to enjoy. Well, kids mostly. Next slide, please. And there's some more equipment there for the age group of 2 to 5. Next slide. And swings. We're going to keep swings, new swings, but we want to make sure that we have swings at the park and keep them that way. Next slide. And that's just some pictures of, there's the sport court. We are thinking of a color of yellow and black trim border around it with white lines for the court. And the picture shows where it will be. If you're looking at the basketball court from the playground, the volleyball court would be on the left there. It's a nice flat area. Next. And there's just a picture of North Bay Park. That's the final slide. Thank you.
So we're bringing this to council because we are asking for council to approve for us to move forward, and then know that we will be bringing forward a 50% match in the future, probably the near future. This grant is due to be turned in at the end of April. So shortly after that, we will be bringing that to council. The other thing is what Tim was talking about in the slides, this park, I don't know how often you go past it, but this park really is used by toddlers and teenagers and every age in between. And this playground set really does a great job of working out for all the different age groups.
I think, did you accidentally say a 50% match? Because it's a 20% match, but it's $50,000.
$50,000 is what I meant.
Just wanted to make
Thank
sure
you.
want to make sure everyone understands that.
All right, and we had great success with volunteers pitching in and putting things together at Chinook Park. It looked like professional company came in and put all that playground equipment together.
They do. The Parks Board did a great job of rounding up volunteers for Chinook Park, and then we were there for, I don't know, 3 or 4 days, and it went up really quick. And Play Creations that we get the equipment from comes out. They have a professional installer on site so that you know everything is built safe and to spec. And it was a lot of fun. It was a great project. So we're looking forward to doing it also at North Bay.
All right, we got any public comment? Yes.
Sherry Dooley. Were any plans available that didn't use metal, like a composite or something like that? I mean, we know that metal doesn't do well here. And I've seen it on the playground at school, how it's just rusting away. And I'm wondering if there's anything that could be used in place of metal to build the structures. So just something that might last longer in our environment.
All right, yes, go ahead, Jan.
Jan Hyatt. I don't go out to the park, so I'm not familiar with this, but I know that we've had some problems with restrooms on a lot of the areas, but city-maintained restrooms. If there's a need for an upgrade there, I'm hoping, or improvements, I'm hoping that some of this money can be spent for that also. Thank you.
Any other questions out there? Comments? I don't see any. Council. Yes, Kurt.
I'm going to have to disagree with Mrs. Dooley there. Steel slides and monkey bars are good for him. It's on the record now. How confident are you on this grant?
I feel pretty good about it. The grant coordinator that I'm working with in the state is very. I had a meeting with her, and she's working for us. Let's put it that way. She wants to make sure that we have the best possible application that we can, and she's covering every aspect of it. That's why we have a lot of the ADA stuff and seating, things that you probably wouldn't think about that she wants us to have include in the request.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that was all I had. Thank you.
All right, Richard, go ahead.
So I have a couple of questions, and first a comment. I have some experience with clip-together dance floors, and they unclip just as easy as they clip. So what's the potential of this clip-together dance floor growing legs?
Well,
walking away.
That definitely is a concern. I did ask about that. They have a locking mechanism. Now, I'm sure it's not 100% theft-proof, but it would take quite some effort, the way it was explained to me, to be able to walk away with a piece or two.
That answers that question.
Okay.
So then, is there any value in the existing playground equipment? As I looked at the slides available on those rusty joints, phosphoric acid, called OSPO, is really good at removing the rust and turning it into a paintable surface. And it's my opinion, without personally having gone and examined that the amount of rust I saw in the picture could be dealt with. That's not to say I'm against this RCO grant. I'm definitely in favor, and that's a really good return on investment, 50 for 250. But if we can clean those up and sell them and recoup some of our money, is that a thought?
I think from a liability standpoint, it's past the point where we could clean them up and make them safe. I put in this slideshow the best picture of the rusted areas. There's some that are really deteriorated, and we've already replaced swings and the cables and the seats and all of that. So I wouldn't recommend selling it.
I trust your judgment. Thank you for looking. That's all I have. Thank you.
Anybody else? Yes, Denise?
I actually had the same question as Kurt, and I think you answered that in terms of the possibility of us getting this. Is it a possibility that we would get a partial funding? And if so, do you have a game plan for that?
It's not something that I talked about with the grant coordinator, just because I want the whole
Well, sure.
portion. I believe that there may be much larger requests coming from different municipalities. Excuse me. So I think that the lower our request is, maybe we'll get a better shot at it. That's probably. I mean, that's kind of the driver why I feel more confident about it.
And thank you for getting input from the users of the equipment at the library.
Oh, for sure. I'm sure they were excited.
Lisa, Scott.
I just echo, you're correct. There are a lot of those RCO grants come in for a lot of money, millions of dollars, a lot of the larger jurisdictions. So I think our chances are pretty good. This is a small amount, and sometimes it's better to start small and then creep up as you do more, not amendments to the park, but as more modifications. But I'd like to go ahead and make a motion to approve the request of the City Council of the City of Ocean Shores, Washington, to allow the city to proceed with applying for an RCO grant to upgrade the North Bay Park.
Second.
All right, we have a second. Any other comments? Not seeing any. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, great. Unanimous. All right. Thank you, Tim, for what you're doing. We have next a request of the City Council of the City of Ocean Shores, Washington, to award the South Fire Station generation installation by Schumacher Electric, and that's presented by our project manager, Becky Leach.
So the South End Fire Station generator is finally coming to council. Yay! This is the last piece that we should be bringing to get the South Fire Station open. It's gone out to bid twice, and the first time the bid came in, we only got one, so we wanted to put it out again because, in my opinion, it's a high-priced item. Schumacher bid the first time for $80,047.65. Their bid the second time was the same amount, and they are low bid. The high bid is $92,190. So there's a pretty big spread between low bid and high bid. The option for paying for this is to have it either come out of 001 Capital Facilities or 301, which is a fire department EMS. Sarah's going to help me with this.
Okay, so the options that we put on there, one would be a budget amendment because the fire department does not have this in their budget capacity to pay for. The 301 account is the capital facilities where we put the original $650 that we've slowly used on the South End renovations and other. We put both options because those are, of course, options of the governing body. We would like to, as we still work through our general fund, cost allocation, revenue, and how that all looks, we would like to see this come out of that capital facilities fund, the 301. And then in the interim, if we find ourselves in need to, build that fund back up, we can look at transferring from the general fund at that time. I believe that after this project, if it was to come out of that capital facilities fund, it would have like $128,000 still left in it. Becky can correct me if I'm wrong. Those are the two options for council. We would like to see it out of the capital facilities account.
That is correct. Currently, there's $212,000 in the capital facilities fund. So I feel like between this project and then the rest of 2026, with the capital facilities funds that we'll have left, we'll be in good shape for our carpenter to get our buildings in good shape for the rest of that time period. So I guess the request is for Schumacher's proposal of $80,047.65 to be approved for the South Fire Station generator. It's a full install, turnkey ready, tested, set up, all of it.
All right, do we have any public comment? I'm not seeing any. Council. Any comments or questions? I don't know who was first. I guess Richard, go for it.
I just had questions regarding the generator itself. Is it permanently mounted or is it on wheels? And second, it's commercial grade?
It is. It's a 40 kilowatt generator. It's going to be really large, probably the size, if not bigger than this table, and it will be mounted, not on wheels.
It'll be on a concrete pad.
It'll be on a concrete pad, yeah.
All right, Richard.
So, make sure I would like to make a motion to approve the request of the City Council of the City of Ocean Shores, Washington, to award the South Fire Station generator installation to Schumacher Electric.
Second.
Right, we got a second. Any other comments or questions?
Oh, can you also say that it'll come out of capital facilities? I'm sorry.
So, rather than restate, can I just add out of the capital facilities?
Yeah.
Still second.
We still got a second, so all in favor?
Aye.
All right, unanimous.
Thank you.
All right, we got a request of the City Council, the City of Ocean Shores, Washington, approving the Comcast Cable Communications Management LLC franchise agreement, and that will be presented by our City Administrator, Scott Anderson, Kenyon Disson Law Firm Attorney, Lisa Marshall. We got her? Okay, good. And then the Comcast representative, Deanne English.
And Deanne, if you want to come up and take a seat, please.
Okay, can you hear me all right, Mayor?
We hear you beautifully, Lisa.
Thank you. Well, the city administrator and the mayor received a request from Comcast several months ago to establish a franchise in the city of Ocean Shores. This franchise was something I have seen before in many other cities. I worked with Comcast to reach the franchise that you see before you this evening. It is very consistent with all other franchises that Comcast has negotiated with other cities in Washington. I've probably negotiated about a half a dozen in the last couple of years. They do not vary from city to city. So with that, I will just simply say that they are here to answer technical questions. This is a 10-year franchise. The city will receive 5% in franchise fees, which is still available to cable cities that have cable franchises in Washington. If you have programming for educational and government, the franchise fees will be deducted. We'll deduct the amount from that, but I don't believe you have that in Comcast in Ocean Shore, so you should be receiving the 5% franchise fees. With that, and knowing that this is a pretty standard franchise for 10 years, I'll turn it over to Deanne to answer technical questions.
And just before I turn it over to Deanne, thank you, Lisa. We did make one change that came in your packets today, and that was the insurance parameters for what we're doing with this. And the reason that we changed this is because we just wanted to be in line with the same parameters we did with the Ripple Fiber franchise agreement, and it did increase the amounts that were originally in this draft. The limits now go to $10 million per incident and $11 million for general aggregate damage. It takes commercial automobile liability up to $8 million, and so it's just a little more protection for the city, and just to make sure that we're on an even playing field with Ripple Fiber and with Comcast. But when it rains, and everyone wants to come into Ocean Shores. So with that, Deanne, I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, thank you. I am happy to answer any questions. A little bit about the build. So once, if the council grants approval.
Dan, you got to speak into the mic because no one on the radio can hear you. So
sorry. How about that? If the franchise is approved, it will we will build about 121 miles of a next generation fiber optic network that will bring additional choices to citizens in Ocean Shores for both residents and small businesses. The intention is to build to all 12,000 plus of your plats to be able to offer those services from connectivity, internet, entertainment, mobile phone, home security, our full suite of products to all of the customers. What questions do you have for me?
Right. Any public comment out there? Don't see any. Council? Yeah, Kurt?
Hi. You're publicly stating your goal is to serve every home. And I think it's reasonable for us to understand how that aligns with the terms of the agreement. And what I'm referring to is the build-out provisions in the contract. Just to make sure I'm understanding this correctly. In areas where homes are more spread out, which we have a lot of here in this town, residents may be required to help pay potentially up front to extend service to their homes. My question is, how does this work in practice?
Great question. So yes, the intention in design is to service, do a full build to all the residents. So there are some cases, we have a standard footage allowed for a no cost or a standard installation price. When there are homes that exceed that standard footage, and I'd have to double check it, I'm sorry, I don't have it at the top of my brain, we would then offer the customer to have a portion to be able to cover the costs in excess of that standard installation.
Do you have a sense of what that would typically look like, how much it would be?
It would definitely vary depending on the footage and the distance. So I don't have an estimate or an average of that. I could definitely come back with that information.
How about examples of where it's actually people have been asked to contribute?
Yeah, personal example, my parents live out in Yelm, and they lived on a pretty secluded area on 10 acres, and they were able to work with their community. There was 4 homes down this road, and they were able to negotiate with Comcast outside of me separately to have that community serviced, and each of those residents entered into a commitment for so many years, and then also contributed their contribution for that project was minimal, under about $500 with the commitment for the service as well.
So you said it's case by case.
It is.
At a high level, should residents expect that to be a possibility then under this agreement?
Those are extremes. As far as it would be not typical to have to extend past the 150 feet for the cable service drop.
Okay, so you don't anticipate it happening here?
I don't anticipate, I can't promise that there would be none, but I do not anticipate, looking at the design and speaking with the project or the network project team, that there would be a large instance of that.
Okay, thank you.
Richard?
Comment and a question. So the comment is, the more providers there are, the better. I am 100% against monopolies. So my question is bandwidth and speed.
Bandwidth and speed. So we operate at 99.9% reliability. And that's in part to, we have over 900 field technicians in the state of Washington that build, protect, monitor that network to make sure that reliability is coming. We have a ton of different speed tiers. We have affordable options for income-constrained homes, and then we have up to 2 gig symmetrical speeds as well. So we have everything in between.
So tell me the affordable and the 2 gig options. What's the price?
So that's a tough question, Richard, but let me see. So for our Internet Essentials product, that is our income-constrained product. It runs $14.95 a month, and it is 75 megabytes per second.
The price for the 2 gigabyte speed?
The price for the 2 gig of speed, I am ashamed to say I don't have that pricing with me, but I would definitely look that up and get back to you on it.
Ballpark, because this is not your first rodeo, how does it compare to the what Ripple is offering?
It is a very competitive pricing. We offer a 5-year kind of similar price lock pricing as well for customers to have some security in that pricing. But standing up against the competitors, we definitely have some competitive pricing going in. I want to say one of the latest offers was around $80 for the gig service. But again, I do apologize. I didn't bring those numbers.
I'm happy. I work in
Yeah.
ballpark figures.
Yes, thank
So,
you.
thank
Thank you. Thank you for the grace there.
Lisa Scott.
I just had a quick question. Well, more of a, I'm assuming the question that you had is more for acreage property. So like when you're in the, like if you have 10 acres and you plop your house in the middle, it's going to take a lot longer to run it. But most of our lots aren't acreage. They're pretty close to the roadway. So standard will all probably basically be there minus a few exceptions.
Yes, thank you, Lisa.
Okay, thank
It was
you.
Much more eloquent than I put it.
Just checking because I thought that's what you meant, but I wasn't sure.
Right. Yes, Lisa Griebel.
So can I just get some feedback maybe from our city administrator? How was the last rollout of the Ripple fiber gone as far as impact to the community when there's been work in the right of way?
We've had a few locates that have not hit altogether. I've only gotten one or two real private complaints from homes. I mean, when you're ripping up the right of way, normally no one is going to be very happy. We have had a few incidents, but I don't think it's anything that's insurmountable. And like I said, if we can get this all done sort of at once, and we have three options for the citizens of Ocean Shores from going from 1 to 3, and get this done over the period of the next 6 months or so, that would be terrific.
Yes, Richard.
So my memory is that Nicole posted another water main break yesterday or today or something. Was that Ripple related or completely different?
No, the one from the golf course was, but the one that came today was not, correct?
There was, the one I posted this week was a contractor hit a line. The one that was last week where a whole red square was out, that was a fire line installation that had an issue that had nothing to do with contractors. So it's just dependent.
So the long and the short of it is Ripple is doing pretty darn well at not harming our existing infrastructure. Is that a correct assumption? Thank you.
Yeah, they've run a lot of miles of stuff out there, and we've had some few incidences on it. Our crew has been able to get right on it and get it fixed, and they get to pay the bill for it. So,
Can I ask a question?
yes,
Is Comcast going to do the same thing then? Go behind Ripple and dig into the right of ways and all that?
I mean, the hope would be that we would have as much joint trenching options as possible. But yes, we would have to dig into the right of ways. Our construction crews are top notch and will work to be an incredible partner. They come equipped with signboards that will direct residents and citizens to a specific homepage to give more information on the build if they have questions or to reach out to us with any concerns.
yes, Lisa Scott.
I'd like to go ahead and make a motion to request the City Council of the City of Ocean Shores, Washington, approving the Comcast Cable Communications Management LLC franchise agreement.
Second.
All right, we have a second. Any other comments? Yes, Lisa.
Thank you, Mayor. I had just one last question. This is probably for you, Mayor, or for our city administrator. Where do the franchise fees go when we receive them?
That sounds like a Sarah question to me. General fund. All right. Any other comments, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank you. Unanimous.
Thank you, Lisa, and thank you, Dan, for coming down here.
Yes. All right. We don't have any discussions, but we do have an executive session. So we will move on to the next order of business, which is an executive session, and we will begin that session at 7:20. Council will be in executive session for 20 minutes. We'll shoot for on that. And so we expect it to end at 7:40, hopefully. All right, the executive session will be a portion of the meeting for the governing body to discuss with legal counsel representing the agency matters relating to an agency enforcement action, or to discuss with legal counsel representing the agency litigation or potential litigation to which the agency, the governing body, or a member acting in an official capacity is or is likely to become a party when public knowledge regarding the discussion is likely to result in an adverse legal or financial consequence to the agency, and that's RCW 42.30.110(1)(I). I guess we'll move to executive session.
shout out to Nikki and all her years of service.
Denise.
Yeah, thank you, Kurt. I think what you said resonates with all of us. So I will leave it at that. And also a thank you to Chief Logan for her years with Ocean Shores, but also to her previous years in law enforcement. We know that it is a difficult job, and I thank our police for protecting us every day. It was an honor to witness her last dispatch call, and congratulations to Chief Esco and working with her for many years.
Thanks. Allison.
Okay, I had to write all mine out. So tonight, I want to recognize the extraordinary career and an even more extraordinary leader, Chief Nikki Logan. When Chief Logan first joined the Ocean Shores Police Department in 2014 as deputy chief, none of us could have fully anticipated the lasting impact she would make on this community. And when she rose to become the first female police chief in the history of Ocean Shores and the first woman to serve as police chief anywhere in Grays Harbor County, she did more than break barriers. She opened doors. Doors for anyone who needed to see that leadership is not defined by rank or title, but by character, integrity, and heart. And heart is exactly what Chief Logan brought to this community each and every day. Her tenure was not without challenge. She led through chronic staffing shortages, ongoing recruitment hurdles, complex nuisance property issues, and the unique public safety demands that come with the coastal community, especially during high-impact events like the 4th of July. Through it all, she remained steady, focused, and resolute. Chief Logan did not lead from behind a desk. She led from the front. She listened to residents. She stood beside her officers. She showed up consistently and meaningfully when it mattered most. She understood that policing in Ocean Shores is not just about enforcement. It is about people. It is about trust. It's about building relationships that strengthen the fabric of our community. Throughout her career, she championed improvements to public safety codes, advocated to a modern police facility to support future generations, and prioritized community engagement in ways that made a real and lasting difference. She believed in prevention, in education, and in meeting people where they are, and those values became the foundation of the department she shaped. But beyond the policies, the initiatives, and the accomplishments, what we will remember most is who she is. We will remember the officers she mentored and the team she built. We'll remember the dignity and respect she showed to every person, whether a resident, a visitor, a colleague, or a child meeting a police officer for the first time. Chief Logan knew this community, not just as a place she served, but as a community she genuinely cared for. She brought strength to difficult days, humor to long nights, and optimism in the face of challenge. She demonstrated that true leadership is rooted in humanity. As Chief Logan steps into a very well-earned retirement after 27 years, we know her legacy will endure. It lives in the department she built, in the culture she fostered, and in many lives she has touched throughout her career. Chief Logan, on behalf of myself and I'm sure the entire community, thank you. Thank you for your service, thank you for your leadership, your courage, and thank you for the heart you gave to this city. You have made Ocean Shores safer, stronger, and better, and for that, I am truly grateful. Congratulations on your retirement.
Lisa Griebel.
Thank you, Mayor. And I would just like to join everyone else in congratulating our chief on her retirement and our welcome to our new chief. I'm looking forward to her getting sworn in.
Tom.
I'm going to really do this one. Okay? So, for Nikki, she's going to have a great life with you and all of her family. I hope she enjoys it. But if it wasn't the polygraph that I gave to her, she would never be here.
All right. Can I get an adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
We're adjourned.
This has been a live presentation of North Beach TV. We now return you to our regular programming. Already in progress. This has been a live presentation of North Beach TV.